Getting a win is good, but let's talk about it. 1-0 is a pretty nice start to the season, but it wasn't perfect. But they did get the dub, and that's what matters. Look, honestly, the mistakes are the problem. There were mistakes made out there on the field, but my biggest takeaway is they got the mistakes, and they still got the win. Over the past few years, it felt like the Jaguars had to be perfect just to have a chance to win games. A single holding penalty would just derail the whole drive. But it didn't take long for things to see that, look, change can be good because things change. The Jaguars' opening drive, they went out, had 2 holding penalties. They still ended up getting 3 points out there on the board. Now, it does help when Cam Little eats his prowler pups because if you got a kicker that's automatic like that, look, just put the points on the board, right? But it never just seemed to happen that way before. Now, it was always kind of feast or famine, and now all or nothing. Now the Jaguars have a chance to just learn from mistakes. And maybe they're not mistakes, they're just happy accidents, and those are the best kind of mistakes or happy accidents to learn from. Now, I know folks are just kind of tired of hearing it's different, but dude, it is a little bit different. It just is. I've walked into a lot of Jaguars locker rooms after games that have been won and after games that have been lost. I've seen them throw parties coming off the field into the locker room after winning one game that probably didn't mean too much at the time. But this team made it feel like these were the only 2 options, normal and regular. They felt like they expected to win. And now it was just time for them to go ahead and get back to work and move forward. And there's still plenty of work to do because while they got to win, they had 11 penalties for 93 yards. And yes, that's a lot. They got to get that fixed. That's a problem. But there are far more positives out there, man, than there were negatives. And these 2 guys, probably the biggest positives of the day, Travis Etienne and Folie Oluokun. They were the absolute stars. They did exactly what the team needed to do. Let's start with this guy. Let's start with Travis Etienne. He has been surrounded by a whole lot of kind of talk since Liam Cohen took over. Is he the guy? Will he be the guy? Do the coaching staff like him? Blah, 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 blah. All off season long, talking heads, talking about Travis Etienne. Well, what did Travis do? He goes out there and has one of the best games of his career with his brother hanging out on the other sideline. Got a chance to do it, and his brothers see him do it. Look, the offseason is honestly just crazy, and regime changes can be crazy. You never know how stuff will work out, but it seems like something that was a little bit overthought, and we can't overthink things. Liam Cohen is a coach that likes to run the ball, and he's known for getting the most out of his running backs. Why wouldn't he get the most out of a guy who is now 6th in Jaguars franchise history in yards from scrimmage? I don't know where we were going with this one. On the other side of the ball, though, we got to talk about Folie Oluokun. He has been a leader for this defense, and it's just since he put on a teal jersey. And he honestly doesn't get the respect he should around the NFL. I mean, this guy's got to get in the Pro Bowl. All he does is rack up tackles and get the job done. He takes care of business. But coming up with an interception and forcing a fumble, absolutely huge for the defense. Great job by 23 out there leading those guys. Now, 1 game down. It's 1-0. It's all about winning, but this was still a little bit of a warm-up game. Liam Cohen said this week that Bryce Young reminded him a lot of Steph Curry. And I keep saying that he must have meant Seth Curry because there is no way he meant that guy. He definitely meant that guy. Look, this is exactly what we expected it to be. The Panthers are a bad football team. But you know what? The other side of that is the Jags did exactly what they were supposed to do. They went out there, took care of business, and beat a bad football team. Now, the question is, who's next? And that's the Cincinnati Bengals. Can they go out there and do it next week against Cincinnati? That'd put the league on notice and make people really change their expectations for the Jags this season. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but we'll definitely be talking about it on the next episode of Teal the Show. Every Monday and Friday night, we will be hanging out at 11:20 right here on Channel 4, and we will talk about the Jaguars. Tomorrow night, we got a new episode, and it is Victory Monday, which means we're going to have a pretty fun show planned for you. You got to enjoy those Victory Mondays. You never know how many of them you're going to get.